right. Good afternoon, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Soul Inspiration by Anadel Center. Today we have our very own Dr. Folahan Ayoola right here in the DFW area. We want to say first thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
Allowing us into your home and into your personal space.
Pleasure.
Love the background we see over here. So as a
you.
foot and ankle guy, I'm going to start with the shoes, man.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this closet first. Did you design the closet?
No. When we bought the house,
Yeah.
The closet was already designed.
Okay.
And I thought it was pretty interesting because it was split pretty evenly.
That's unusual.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah.
Usually it's easy to know which side
Which
is the
side
ladies'
is the
side.
ladies, right? Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, whoever built this actually wanted, things pretty
Give us a
equal.
little
I mean, come on. So you can literally split this closet down the middle.
Down the middle.
And there's pretty much equal space on both sides.
Okay.
And what I liked about it was that it was set up nicely for you to put shoes, hats, belt, long clothing, short clothing, pants. It was just set up nicely.
Perfect.
So I liked it.
Awesome. So you didn't have to make any adjustments at all. I mean,
no,
it was ready. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. As far as where stuff goes, first off, how did you guys decide what side you were gonna pick? Did you decide first?
Probably.
Yeah.
But the rest of the bathroom is not split equally.
Makes sense.
There's a side that has way more desk space,
and of course you got that.
And she got that spot.
Makes sense.
And so basically she stayed on that side of the the thing. So that's how that kind of
and out. When we say she, he is married, ladies. So sorry, it's too late for y'all, man. So we'll talk about his wife later. But yeah, this is beautiful, man. So let's talk a little bit about the shoe game, man. I see a lot of different variety of shoes. So first things first, what would you say is the oldest pair of shoes you have?
The oldest pair of shoes I have are the lugs.
Okay, let's take a look at the lugs. I'm gonna grab it for you.
Thank you.
These right here.
Yeah,
okay, what's the story behind this?
Man, these guys, I don't even know if they make lugs anymore.
They probably don't. All you youngins out there, man, if you know about lugs, drop a comment. I'm a shoe guy, and I haven't seen a pair of lugs in probably 20 years.
Yeah,
this is a classic right here.
Yeah, I mean, like, what I liked about it, the thick sole, it looked like a Timberland without being one. Very soft, great ankle support.
No doubt.
I liked back then, and I still like this vibe. It had that nice square toe. I love these because, believe it or not, when these were new, because these are older than most kids watching.
Hey, I bet. Yes.
Over 20 years ago,
no doubt.
It was a nice suede. It popped,
Yeah.
So black jeans with this on and a blue shirt.
Dude, you're standing out.
It was over.
It's over.
It was just over. You walk in a club like that, you walk in.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I bet you were single back then.
Oh, yeah, I was.
We ain't going to talk about that.
You weren't trying to let me be single, And I wore these. I wore the life out of these.
No doubt.
And every time I moved and I thought about throwing them away, it'd be like this.
That tug right there, right?
Tomorrow.
I bet she's still trying to get you to get rid of
them. That's why I put them up in the corner.
Way in the corner, man. All right.
Where she can't see them.
Very good, very good. All right, so we got the lugs. How about the last pair of shoes you got? So maybe the newest pair of shoes you got.
So I like Jordans.
Okay.
And for Christmas, actually for my birthday. Speaking of Christmas, what I got for Christmas were these guys. I haven't.
We got to see these.
I haven't put these up yet.
Have you worn these at all? Like,
I haven't.
Look at that box, guys. So this is next level right here.
Yeah. So
I can't afford this.
So I got these for Christmas. I haven't worn them yet.
Let's take a look.
But I really like them.
Ooh, this is nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to wearing these.
What would you rock this with? What would you rock this with? Some formal, informal? I mean, casual?
That's the cool thing about this. I think that this would be really nice to rock with something formal that you just dress down.
Makes sense.
You got your basically black and white, right? Even a black and white shirt under, black tux or whatever, bow tie black. and then you just pop
You
it
just
with
pop that
this,
out. I mean,
and just nice and
that would
clean.
work. Even with, at a cocktail event, tux, suit, whatever, you can rock this.
You could rock this, and it'll still stand.
Okay.
So this is what I got for Christmas.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to rocking those.
Yeah. Did you get those yourself or?
No.
Okay.
I got them as a Christmas gift.
Beautiful.
So I love those.
Yeah.
But what I got for my birthday.
Okay.
Because right now I'm in that mind space of just accessories and shoes.
Okay.
I got these guys.
All right. Let's take a look.
For Christmas.
Okay.
You know, we took a look at the kind of wall of sneakers with the Jordans I picked up over the years.
Yes, sir.
And I found I like kind of 13, 14, 15, maybe even 16. And then when I go old school, the ones for sure.
Most def.
I like the 4s, and then I'll get them different colors. But I think these are, if I'm not mistaken, these are the 9s.
Okay. Have you worn these yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
I just wore it to make sure it fit, but I haven't actually worn these. I like these because I have black and red. I have pure black, usually black gold. Then I have the yellows, the blues, the reds. And then I was like, you know what? I just want a pair that's just straight up black and white.
Classic, man.
Just classic.
Just classic.
You know, so these are the last pair of shoes that I got.
Yeah. Sounds like you've been in the Jordan game for a minute.
Yeah.
So you know a little bit about the brand. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, when I was younger in my teens, my friends would be rocking Jordans.
Yep.
And I'd be like, Dad, my friends are rocking Jordans. He was like, do you have to do everything your friends do?
Like,
I'm like, I know, but I can do this.
But I can do this though,
like,
right?
This is okay. And so he was always like, no, you don't need to follow your friends.
Makes sense.
So I get, Reeboks and Fila's and other shoes.
Anything but Jordan.
Anything but. And they were cool, but
but they weren't Jordan.
So I think that when I got older and started buying my own pairs of shoes, it got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna revisit this Jordan issue.
Yes, sir.
And I do like them. They fit well. I think they look great.
Awesome.
And I think especially nowadays, compared to in previous years, nowadays you have a pair of Jordans come out in different colors, different vibes to it, iterations.
Yeah.
So I think it took the game even higher. Where back in the day you just got one pair. This was it.
That was it. Yeah.
Now it's just different colors and things like that. So it makes it even more fun.
Very good. Very good. Now, lastly, with the shoes, we're gonna ask, which pair of shoes have the most sentimental value to you? Like you're never getting rid of these shoes.
So these, I wiped one down just so you can see a little bit what it's supposed to look like.
Well, there you go.
But you can see the other one here is all
it's all crusty and dusty.
Yeah, just
got some creases to it.
I'm telling you, it's got at least an inch of dust sitting on it.
No doubt. You're not gonna leave us hanging. So tell us the story behind it.
So these are the shoes I wore for my wedding.
Oh.
So
that's nice.
I think that it's just like with the lugs. Anytime I think about tossing them away, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just does. And it's funny because I can't just wear them.
Anywhere, right?
It's hard. It's almost like, I guess, almost like a wedding dress.
Right.
You can't just be wearing your wedding dress.
They're gonna look.
You're gonna wear it one time, and then and if you're a sentimental sort, then you have a hard time getting rid of it.
Makes sense.
So that's, and I am a sentimental guy. So these are the shoes that I can't get rid of. I just keep just because.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. So let's segue and transition into kind of like what you do for a living and how you ended up where you are right now. First off, what is a bariatric surgeon? I mean,
so
what's that mean?
Yeah, so bariatric surgeon. My job is to help people get skinny and healthy.
Okay.
When people think about skinny, they think cosmetic.
Exactly. That's what I thought when I first heard it.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, oh, so you're a plastic surgeon? No, it's a different. So to not get too deep into the weeds, but I still want to kind of educate people a little bit every chance I get.
Right.
Life insurance companies mainly want to know two things to know if they're going to insure you.
Right.
The first is your age.
Right.
And you can't change that.
You can't change that. Right.
The second thing they want to know is your body mass index, or BMI, which is a ratio between your height and your weight.
Right.
Weight, height. And what that number does is exactly as you would expect. It describes your proportions.
Right.
And back in the day, insurance companies, life insurance companies, obviously don't want to insure you if you're going to die prematurely.
Of course, right.
They want to make sure you stick around a long time.
Pay the premium so they can profit off of you, right? Yes.
And then at 80, they're like, oh, no, time to go. We'll hold on to the premium. Thanks for the good time. But they don't want to insure you if you're going to die prematurely.
Right.
And they also don't want to do things that are too expensive to figure out if they're going to insure you. They don't want a CT scan, spend all this money just to decide, oh, we're not going to insure you, you're not safe.
Right.
So they found that BMI was a really good way, and height and weight's easy to get. You step on a scale, measure your height.
Easy.
Very cheap.
Easy.
And so that's kind of where that came from, to say that the higher your BMI got, the shorter your life expectancy.
Makes sense.
So extra weight kills. It just does. And people don't realize that, but it does. And so what I do is help people get healthier.
Okay.
Bariatric surgery specifically just means I do operations to do that. There are two main parts we attack. We attack the stomach, we attack the intestine.
Beautiful.
So we do different things to the intestine or the stomach, or both, to facilitate weight loss, which results in longevity, longer life. But also you get the bonus of liking your cosmetics. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So if somebody wanted to, lose the weight, but also look good and feel good, they could come to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. So, talk a little bit about the process. You don't just wake up and become a bariatric surgeon, right? I mean, what's the school like? How much schooling, how much years, all of that.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my son recently, and he said, so how long were you in school?
Right.
I sat back and did the math, and it was like 15 years, something crazy. And that's after high school.
After high school.
Yeah, so once you get done with high school, you're doing undergrad 4 years in the U.S. You're doing medical school, an additional 4 years, and then general surgery residency 5 years.
Wow.
And then staying on for a fellowship in minimally invasive or laparoscopic surgery with a bariatric fellowship.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So that was my path.
Yeah.
And I think that for me personally, my dad's a doctor, and I always wanted to be a doctor since a kid. The interesting thing is everybody in the family, all his kids were like, I'm going to be a doctor. And then everyone got smarter and picked something else.
Right? Yes.
But I'm the knucklehead that was still like, let me do this.
You're still here though, man. We like it.
Yeah. And I think what it is, and I give this advice to my son as well. If you can't see yourself doing anything else, then it makes sense. If you can see yourself doing something else, go do that something else. But if you're like, I don't see the point in anything else, then it's good to do medicine.
Right. Based on your experience so far, I mean, if your kid wanted to be a physician tomorrow, would you say yeah or nay?
If he had nothing else that
I feel like you answered the question.
Yeah, if he had nothing else that he was good at or passionate about.
Okay.
And no disrespect to anyone, but I didn't name my son Junior.
Right.
Because I'm big on
do your own thing.
Yeah, follow your own path. I'm here to help you, but I'm not gonna tell you what you should do. So that's how I feel about it, is that that's the path that worked out for me. Now it worked out great for me.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's very satisfying. Man, running into my patients and hearing their stories and touching people's lives in such a positive way.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't change it. It's what gets me up in the morning. I'm like, let me go affect someone's life in a positive way.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud of it. I like it, but I hesitate to tell anyone else this is what you ought to do.
Right.
Because if you don't feel it yourself and you're doing it for me or for other reasons,
you're gonna burn out, right?
Yeah, there'll be times where you're like, I hate this, I don't want to be here.
Absolutely.
But if you actually love it, at some point you have to go back
Makes sense.
to doing what you're doing.
Makes sense. I like the fact that you said you do this to help people. As a Christian, I believe that God brings us to a place for a certain reason, and it's to make change and establish God's kingdom here on earth. A lot of people talk about fate, F-A-T-E. I got here by fate, but we don't really believe that. We believe that with faith, God ordains our footsteps. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Talk about your walk and what kind of challenges you've dealt with and how you've gotten where you are today.
Man, you couldn't say it more powerfully. I know there are many instances where, because if you told me when I was a kid that I'd be doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't believe you.
Right? Yeah.
If you told me in medical school I'd be doing this, I wouldn't believe you.
Right.
Even during my general surgery residency, if you told me you're going to help people lose weight, I'm like, no. They just need to diet and jog. What are you talking
exercise,
about?
Man.
Exactly.
Get off your butt, right? Yeah.
And so only God. There were so many different ways my life could have gone, and I still remember each one of those kind of forks in the road pretty vividly.
Right.
that I know me being where I am now. I'll to give you a good example. Even when I matched to residency,
explain to people what that means.
Right. We can speak language very fluently. So when you finish undergrad, high school, you're going to undergrad.
Right.
When you finish undergrad, you apply to medical schools.
Right.
And you rank them, and they rank you.
Right.
And then it matches.
Right.
And that's why it's called a match.
Right.
And so when you finish medical school and you're doing residency, you kind of do the same thing. You rank residency programs, places where you could go get additional training, and they rank you, and you match. And I wanted to stay in Dallas because I went to medical school in Dallas.
Okay.
And I matched into this program in Richmond, Virginia. And at first I was pretty disappointed because I wanted to stay in Dallas.
Dallas, right? And
I happened to go to the program where bariatric surgery has such a storied history.
Wow.
An incredibly storied history.
No doubt.
I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, this isn't Dallas.
They say Dallas, man. Virginia.
I love getting real Dallas. We love VA, baby. No insults, okay. But I'm at that program.
Right.
And God is looking at me like, yeah, you're exactly where I want you to be. And I'm like, but my plan was this. And he was like, yeah, good luck with your plan. This is my plan for you.
Awesome.
And so when I then stayed on to do minimally invasive surgery, the minimally invasive surgery laparoscopic program said, you have to do bariatrics. I said, I don't want to.
Right.
I just want to do, chopstick surgery.
Yes.
I want to do the technologically advanced stuff.
Absolutely.
They're like, no, you got to do. Then I started doing it. And I like, not to toot my own, I'm an empathetic person. I can't turn up even if I tried. I've always been.
Right.
Sometimes I really hate it because I'm thinking about people first instead of thinking about what I feel about something. I'm thinking about how they must feel about it.
Right.
But with bariatric patients, it really helps because every other medical condition you can hide. You could be a diabetic and ask for ice cream and nobody knows any better.
Right.
Well, you can't be morbidly obese and ask for seconds. Everybody's got something to say.
Looking at you sideways, right? Yeah.
And so walking through life carrying your medical condition on the outside puts you in a weird mental state. You're used to being judged. You're used to being criticized. You're used to people actually don't let you be human because a diabetic or hypertensive can still eat sugar and salt and nobody knows, so they can still live. Somebody with lung cancer could come out smoking and you have no idea.
Makes sense.
But if you knew they had lung cancer, every time they say, "Can I have a cigarette?" You'd be like, "No, you should get. You shouldn't be doing that."
Of course.
And so mentally, folks have certain struggles. So being an empathetic person, being able to work with them, helping them see stuff like I just said, that they're like, I never thought of that.
Wow.
Helps them know where to put that feeling. And so I really enjoyed it, and I fell in love with bariatric surgery. And also the technical aspect for me was just incredible. Okay, so fast forward. Still gotta get back to Dallas, Thank you, Richmond.
I'll see y'all later.
I gotta go. And so my goal was just to come back home.
Right. Yep.
I get to Dallas, and Dallas at the time was per capita the busiest place for bariatric surgery in the world. In the world.
As far as competition is concerned.
As far as the volume of bariatrics being done.
Wow.
So I didn't come down here saying, oh man, lots of bariatrics done.
Right, yeah.
I came down here because I'm coming home.
Right.
And I get here, and bariatrics is the forefront of what's happening in Dallas.
Wow.
And I joined a practice where the surgeon I joined had been doing a particular procedure called duodenal switch for 10 years. This was he started that 20 years ago. I've been doing this about 10 years. So I joined him about 10 years ago.
Right.
And he had been doing it for 10 years prior to that. Keep this in mind. Just now, duodenal switch is becoming more popular. Wow. So that means this guy was doing an operation that was 20 years ahead of his time.
Wow.
And so I was 10 years joining him ahead of the times. And now everyone's like,
trying to
let's
catch
do
up,
duodenal switch.
Yeah.
If that's not God, I don't know what is.
Definitely a God then.
Yeah. So it's funny because it's I believe that you believe in God and you take the steps he tells you to, even if you don't understand it, you don't like. It's only when you look back that you see what he was doing
the whole time, right?
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's when I avoided that rock. That's why you wanted me to turn left.
Absolutely.
And I was like, but turning left is longer. Why can't I go straight?
Wow.
But I would have run into a rock. I would have run into that pit. But it's only when you look back that you're like, oh, Oh,
makes sense. All
that's
those
what
pieces
you were
come
doing.
together. Yes, and that's that Romans 8:28 where God says all things will work together for good.
Mhm.
I mean, if you had not gone to Virginia, only God knows where you'd be.
Where I'd be.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
that's crazy. So for the little man in Dallas or Ibadan or Benin or wherever, who's thinking, I'd like to be like him tomorrow. I want to be a bariatric surgeon. What's the best advice you can give them, man? What kind of words of encouragement can you give them to get to where you at right now?
One, I believe dream big. It's okay to dream as wide as you just whatever, because I think that your dream is Holy Spirit, God putting it in you,
downloading it into you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only way you connect,
100%.
or the way you connect, that He tells you, this is what I want for your life. So if the dream is big and you're like, no, that can't be me,
right?
You're making God small.
You're
if He tells you this is, so first to me is dream big.
Yes, sir.
Two, I think, is everything you do, no matter who's looking, or if no one's looking, do it well. Do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And I like to tell my patients this too. Who knows when you've done your best?
Right. Only you.
Only you.
Only you and God.
Only you.
Yeah.
Yep. Only you and God. So do your best in every and any environment you're in, because I know for a fact that there are people that have done their best in an environment that years later someone will ask me about them, and I'm like, oh, if you could get that person, get them. They didn't do it for that, but that's the end result. I know for a fact that there are things that I've done in my life, where I didn't do for a specific reason, but later on somebody calls me and says, hey, we've heard about you. You did this really well. We want you to do this. So opportunities open up and things happen for you when you do things well. Recently I was hanging out with my old man, and he told me a story of how they were all in class and the teacher didn't show up. And they're all sitting there, everyone's making noise, teacher's not showing up. And so he's just decided that he was going to play teacher. And so he said, everybody pay attention, sit down. All right, we're going to go through stuff. Number one, this is it. He just did that. He didn't know that there was like some scout of some sort.
Wow.
Watching.
Wow.
And that person was just impressed by how he took over the situation. And that led to opportunities for him.
Wow.
And he was saying that he had no idea that that was happening. Again, we talk about God. That's but when God tells you, hey, go do this.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Do it.
You don't know what he's, how he's planning that stuff. So that's what I would say. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm just this little boy in Benin. No one's going to ever know what I...
Right.
What do you have passion for? What is your dream? What do you enjoy doing? And do it even if nobody sees.
Absolutely.
And then be verbal. Talk to people.
Yeah.
The person you need to know is 3, 4, 5, 6 people away. Tell people things. People you trust, obviously, but share what's going on with you. Oftentimes when this happened with me and you. I'm on a flight. God put you on it.
We were on that flight, yes, sir.
And then your seat was right next to mine. We didn't plan that.
Yep.
And then I'm just telling you, hey, I'm messing with this music stuff.
Hey,
and you're like, hey, do you know this guy?
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't. Well, he's in your backyard.
Hello, right.
And now we're good friends and we're doing work together. But if you had sat next to me and I just kept quiet, hey, how you doing?
Exactly.
I didn't say anything. You couldn't make that connection.
Exactly.
And so you just never know. Sharing your dreams with the right people helps them carry your dreams forward. So have the dream, think big, do good work, and network. Share it with people.
That's so good, man. And I talk about this all the time. Even with my kids. God hasn't created us to be on an island. We need that support system, man. And where you are today, you're super successful. Who would you say have been some of the most important mentors? I know you've mentioned your dad a couple of times. Support systems, your wife. I mean, who have been the biggest influences in support systems?
Yeah, I have to give props to my mom as well. I remember applying for medical school. She bought me my first suit ever.
Wow.
She was like, "You're going up for interviews. You're gonna need this.
Look right. Yep.
Here's your suit."
Yep.
I remember that vividly. It was a nice, sharp suit. I probably still have it
somewhere.
I probably still got it somewhere. And then the other person, I had a great mentor in residency, Dr. Vu. who I always liked the way he explained things to patients. I think he had a huge influence on how I explain things to patients. He organizes his thoughts well. He presents things in a language anybody could understand. I really appreciated that. And then there was another, he was a vascular surgeon that I really remember some of the things he taught me. One of the most important things he taught me, I went to him and I was like, I'm trying to decide what to do next. And I have these options and I don't know what to pick, and I'm stressed out, and what should I pick?
Do? Right.
Okay. I expected him to tell me, pick this.
Pick this.
And then I could like, oh, thank God you've been so helpful.
Right.
That's not what he did. He said, I said, excuse me?
Excuse me?
He said, well, here's the thing, Ayoola. Whatever you do is going to be fine. You're going to land on your feet because you're fine. Wow. And I walked out of his room saying, he did not help me at all.
Wasted my time,
this man wasted my time. I don't even know why I respect this.
Right.
I recently called him and told him, do you remember when you said this to me? He said, yeah. I said, at the time I was like,
it made no sense, right?
Now I understand. That's why when I give the advice, the second one of do well, that's kind of where that comes from.
Makes sense.
Good. If you do a good job in everything you do, things work out well for you. If you just, you're going to land on your feet. So the things that you're super worried about, this decision, that decision, no, it's fine. We just, if you stay the same, doing good work, whatever you do, you're going to do well in. And then, trust in God and let him guide you. That's
kingdom building.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The guy joined, Daryl Stewart, taught me the duodenal switch. Lots of props. I can't keep going without mentioning my wife.
You trying to stay married, dog?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to her too.
And here's the thing. Okay, I think this is the funny thing about that.
Yes.
Okay. She's gonna call this an Ayoola. Ayoola-ism is what she calls it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, you got these Ayoola-isms to get your way.
I got you.
But I think what it is that if you're with a life partner that you feel is flesh of your flesh, blood of your blood, when someone says who inspires you or who helps you, you rarely say I help me, I inspire me, I.
Right.
And so when you feel like that person is an extension of you, just another part of you, you tend to forget to say that.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because you don't view them as outside other helping you. You view,
when the Bible says they become one flesh.
Yeah, you mean that. Yeah, it just doesn't occur. But we're also still only human, where you want that acknowledgement of, hey, I've been with you through thick and thin.
Right.
But that's why sometimes it's hard to remember to mention that, because that's a given.
It's a given. You ain't even gotta ask.
Yeah, like if everyone else gotta fight for their support, gotta get their support. I just don't have. Yeah, we rock like that, like as a standard, like, and it's both ways. Like anything you're doing, if you go through it, we going through it. So it's not like I can be like, yeah, good luck with that.
Right, nah, man.
No, we go.
We're
going through it. And so that's why there's that tendency, in my opinion, to not do that. But for sure, I mean, we were joking about how old those shoes were,
right?
But she was around when I got those shoes.
She was around. That's before the ring, too.
Before the ring, So I mean, like we go way back.
Way back. That's such a blessing. It
goes without saying.
That's such a blessing, such a good testimony. For people who want to reach out to you, I mean, if somebody needed bariatric help, if somebody needed, I know you do the music game on the side. How can people find you?
Oh man. So if the easiest way to find me just professionally is Dr. Ayoola on Google.
Okay.
And my locations, website, all that kind of stuff pops up.
Awesome.
If you're on social media, my main gig is Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram currently. You could also look me up that way, Ayoola. And then when you pull me up with my name, my first name, last name, then on Instagram it's gonna give you a menu. Like how do you wanna connect? Is this on the personal tip?
Okay.
You're gonna see my first name, last initial.
Okay.
Is this on the professional tip? medicine, you're going to see Dr. Ayoola. And then is this on the music tip?
True,
You're going to see the FOL show up.
I like it.
And, you know, whichever other egos I come up with will, will have their own, you know, face. But Googling my name and stuff like that, and, you know, shoot me an email or catching up to me on social media, etc.
That's awesome, man. And we love the fact that you're super successful, but super accessible also. So we're going to put, you know, all the social media handles at the end of this video here, and you can reach out to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to say a big thank you for letting us come, you know, into your personal space. And,
anytime.
And talking to you today.
Yeah,
we want to say
a pleasure,
God bless and peace to our family.